So much more to be done, but slowly awareness of the harm that can be caused by FGM is growing. A group of young women from Birmingham's Somali community have launched a campaign to spread the word and to protect girls at risk.
Well, they've enlisted the help of Fixers, the campaign that gives young people a voice to get their message across.
I don't think anyone should have the right to dictate how someone else's body should look like.
They are barbaric practices, but they're not seen like that by the people who practice them.
My name is Anam Ali and I'm 21 years old.
I'm Deqa Ahmed, I'm 22 years old.
We live in Birmingham, but our family is originally from Somalia.
Our Fixes project is to get people talking about female genital mutilation. This is a process some women go through, which involves cutting or stitching in the genital area.
FGM is sometimes referred to as female circumcision. I think that confuses because people tend to compare female circumcision to male circumcision, and the two things are completely different. FGM is much more invasive, it's much more severe.
A lot of people don't know that it's illegal in this country.
Female genital mutilation has terrible consequences. It can lead to hemorrhaging, it can lead to death, it can lead to lifelong medical problems. It's practiced across 40 countries throughout Africa and the Middle East and into Asia. And those communities have migrated into Birmingham and the West Midlands. So it is also practiced amongst those communities here.
For our project, we created a film to educate people about FGM. In order to make the film, we organised a crafts day in which we made flowers.
And we used case studies for every petal.
We are young women.
We are young women. We are young women united in the fight against FGM. Hear our voices.
The film is aimed at school-age girls, and the aim is to create a dialogue between teachers and students and kids and their parents. The same way we tackle sexual health issues or domestic violence, so that FGM is seen as a topic we can openly talk about.
Communities still think it's the right thing to do because it's part of their traditions and values, and I don't think that they look at the health consequences or the implications that come with the practice because they genuinely believe that they're doing the right thing.
Some women believe that it's a rite of passage, so a girl is moving from a child to adulthood. Also, they believe that it purifies them, it's a form of cleansing. It's important to emphasize that none of these elements are in fact true.
It's now estimated that 170,000 girls and women are living with FGM here in the UK, and 66,000 girls are at risk every single year. I'm a survivor myself, so I went through FGM at the age of 7. This project, it's very important, especially that it's led by young women, and I think they are the future parents who will prevent FGM from happening to their own children. I'm pleased this film will be in schools, and I think it's about time we had such films in our schools.
I think if a practice has been happening for 100 years, to think it's going to be gone in the next 5 years is too ambitious. But at least if we talk about it now, then the next generation will not be doing this to their own kids.
I'm quite hopeful that things are going to change. Things have been changing recently, so I can definitely see a change coming.
And if you want to see more about this story and Fixers, or indeed find help on this particular issue, then visit fixers.org.uk.
Now, many of us will know someone who has the most common cancer in Britain, breast cancer. In fact, 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with it during their lifetime.
Now, every year, around 4,400 women are diagnosed with breast cancer in the West Midlands. On ITV Later, the Tonight programme looks at what's being done to reduce the risk and improve diagnosis, as well as what others are doing to fight breast cancer. That's Beating Breast Cancer at 7:30 tonight.
Now, if you were watching us last night, you may remember we brought you the story of John Reeve, who'd spent the last 33 years of his life with very little hearing after an accident when he was just 7 years old.
Well, recently doctors decided a cochlear implant could help him to hear clearly again. Tonight, in the second of our special reports, Claire McGlasson looks at his life-changing surgery.
He's lived in a world of near silence for 33 years. But he's about to take his first steps back into a world of sound. John Reeve from Long Buckby in Northamptonshire has been profoundly deaf since he was 7. Relying on lip reading to understand conversations, everyday sounds are a babble of murmurs. But he dares to hope all that's about to change.
It does feel in many ways like I'm going to become some kind of adult baby in this sense, because I've got to relearn to hear again through this new method of hearing.
That new method is a cochlear implant, and that means an operation. Once John is under anaesthetic, his surgeon, Mr. Donnelly, begins the painstaking task.
Well, in his case, everything is working apart from the very specialist cells in the cochlea, but actually his nerves are fine. It's the sensory cells which have gone. So we can take advantage of the fact that those nerves that are there, you can stimulate those electrically, and if you stimulate at one end those nerves, you'll hear low frequencies, and at the other end you'll hear high frequencies.
Unlike hearing aids which amplify sounds, cochlear implants bypass the damaged parts of the ear. Electrodes send signals through the nerves directly to the brain. But first, those electrodes have to be threaded inside the cochlea. Mr. Donnelly has to find a part of the ear called the round window. It's no more than 1 millimetre across, and if that wasn't difficult enough, he has to navigate a safe path between the facial nerve on one side and the eardrum on the other. With the implant safely in place, John is taken to recovery. 3 months later, I've come to see if the operation has worked. I'm hoping that John will be able to hear my voice for the first time today. Though it won't sound like it does to you right now. Just to give you an idea, using sound effects,
hearing through what is essentially an electronic ear makes the voice sound much more synthesised, more robotic.
Hello! So you heard me knock?
I did hear you knock, yeah.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Do you want to come in?
Thank you.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm hearing some sounds which are astonishing, really. Sounds that I've never heard before. And it's been extraordinary, really. And some of the experiences in my life just isn't quite anymore.
So what are the things that have surprised you?
The biggest one now at the moment is clocks ticking. Not just hear the ticking, but it's really loud. And it's amazing to think that those sounds have been there, and I've been there before, but I've never picked them up before.
He takes it all in his stride, and I get quite, do you realise what you've just heard or what's just happened? And I think it sinks in afterwards, really, of, how far he's come.
And now I feel like there's, you can see the horizon, as it were, and you can just go off towards it now and try and explore it. That's what they say at the hospital. They want you to go out there and start living your life, and that's just what I want to do.
That's lovely, isn't it? Fascinating.
Really good. I'm not great with the surgery stuff, though, to be honest. But it was good. It was fine. I enjoyed it. And still to come here on ITV News Central this evening, the 3 rare lynx cubs born at Dudley Zoo. That's still to come.
First, though, the world's first fully electric race series, the Formula E Championship, has begun its official pre-season testing at Donington Park in Leicestershire.
Well, the sessions offer the Formula E teams the chance to see their fully electric cars in action. The first race of the season is in September in Beijing. 2 of the teams are headed by actor Leonardo DiCaprio and Virgin boss Sir Richard Branson.
It's really, really exciting, to be honest. It's kind of pioneering stuff. This has never been done before in motorsport, and I think that it's going to open everybody's eyes to the possibilities of a fully electric future within the automotive industry. They're going to be capable of speeds up to 200 kilometres an hour. They might not look brilliantly quick here, but you wait till we get to street circuits, it's going to look really cool.
They look pretty quick, or potentially pretty quick.
Yeah. Quick enough.
Quick enough for me, definitely. Now, the national and international news is a few moments away. Let's take a look at what is coming up. Here's Mary Nightingale.
Security is tightened at UK airports amid warnings of a credible terrorism threat to the US. American officials believe Islamist terrorists are developing bombs that could evade routine checks. As the opening ceremony of the Tour de France takes place in Yorkshire, we'll be live in Leeds. and why this British adventurer is trying to disprove the saying that no man is an island by living on one for 60 days. Join Alice Stewart and me for that and more at 6:30.
Now, we've had quite a bit of hard stories today, haven't we, on the
Yes,
programme? So it's nice to have a nice light one to tell you about. And this involves 3 new arrivals at Dudley Zoo who are starting to explore their enclosure for the very first time. The triplets were born 6 weeks ago and until now have been confined to their enclosure.
Well, it is the... Oh, there he is, look. It is the first time Carpathian lynx have been born at the zoo. How cute are they? This is Mum Daisy's first litter. Staff say she's coping brilliantly well, but she remains, as we can see, a little protective of her new family.
As you would do. But she kind of got nice weather.
Yeah.
So hopefully feeling a little bit at home.
Yeah,
you
ease
never
into
know.
it. Lovely. All good. Right, what should we do now? Let's get the weather forecast. With all the details, here's Janelle.
What's in store for today? ITV Local Weather, sponsored by CenterParcs.
Hello, well, we're certainly having a very pleasant summer. Today has been no exception. It's been warm, we've had sunny spells, and it's also been a mainly dry day. And as we go through the rest of this evening, we're expecting it to stay the same until the sun sets. But we're also looking at this beautiful sunset picture sent in to us by David Atkinson from Warwickshire. And do send us your pictures. We do love to get them and use them. Going into the rest of tonight, it's going to be cloudy with some clear spells. It's also going to be a dry night and also feeling quite muggy. We're looking at a low of 13 Celsius. And into tomorrow, as I mentioned, the weather does break down as we go through the day. Seeing a lot of cloud, highs of 18 Celsius, but as we go into the afternoon, what you'll begin to notice is a band of rain that's pushing its way in from the north. Staying warmer where it stays dry, looking at highs of 20, but where the rain pushes in, we're looking at highs of just 16 Celsius in the north. As we go into the end of the week, as we go into the weekend, well, Saturday is looking like it will be the best day. On Sunday, we see those showers returning again, temperatures in the high teens. Your pollen is coming up next.
ITV Local Weather, sponsored by CenterParcs.
The Pollen Count, sponsored by Checkatrade.com. Checkatrade.com.
Well, it's a very high pollen count today, and that's grass pollen that's the dominant one. As we go into the next couple of days where the weather becomes more unsettled, the pollen count will drop to moderate.
Now, just before we go, let's give you a reminder of tonight's top stories on ITV News Central. One man has died after being shot in the Sparkbrook area of Birmingham last night. A second man was shot and another stabbed during the trouble. 4 men in their 20s have been arrested on suspicion of violent disorder.
A drug smuggler from Stourbridge is beginning a jail sentence tonight after trying to bring heroin with a street value of more than £9 million into the country. Tahir Mahmood was told he'd spend at least 16 years in jail after a complex surveillance operation.
And a group of women from Birmingham's Somali community are campaigning to raise awareness of the problem of female genital mutilation. It comes on the day a group of MPs released a report saying it was scandalous girls weren't being protected.
And there is more news for the Midlands on our website, including what Ozzy Osbourne's controversial pact with his wife Sharon is all about. I don't know what that's all about. ITV.com/central is how we find out what it's all about.
Yeah, the mind boggles.
Yes.
For now, though, from all the team here, have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.